GM friends, how we doing? Sam, I see you're on stage. Love to see it. Vivo, Paul, LTO, Kemp, Flakes, Johnny, Sleepy, Jenny, everybody else. So good to see you down here. Welcome to the Spaces. We have Sam Cardillo with us, ready to talk about the artifact migration over to Arweave. Please jump into the chat below. Send some GMRIOs. You get 100 friendship points for that. Share the space with your audience. Let's get some more people in here. And yeah, let's have a good time. It's Monday morning. Hope everybody is doing well. Yeah, thrilled to have Sam with us. This is an exciting time. I'm Anthony. I am the community manager at RIO. We do indexing, caching, data, storage, serving, all that fun stuff through gateways on the Arweave, in the Arweave ecosystem. We're ready to unpack what happened with CloneX and what's next. Sam, great to hear you. Great to have you. How you doing?
Great to be here. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you loud and clear. You are the man single-handedly running Artifact.
I was. I'm out, actually.
He's out. Yeah, so in that case, why don't you just give us a quick rundown about, how Artifact started and what you're working on now?
Well, I mean, sure. I mean, so first of all, thank you so much for having me, and again for the help your team, has provided during the apocalypse. I will say. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we start by that. Thanks again for everything you've done. It was a really pleasure to meet all of your team and discover the solution that you've made. And Artifact started 4 years ago almost now. At least I joined the adventure 4 years ago. It was very early. The company had just started. Really, there was no tech at all. It was just a vision that Benoit, Chris, and Z had in terms of what to do with authentication of assets and collectibles and stuff like that. And they were searching for a tech guy to kind of come in and help out. And Benoit and I are very close friends, so he came to me and asked for my help. And I love the idea, I love the vision, I love Benoit as well, so I was like, let's do it. And from one thing to another, it led to the crazy journey that Artifact became. It was an insane journey, and yeah, I left Artifact now 3-4 days ago. It's pretty new. So like 30th of April. So it's very, very new. Just in time after the apocalypse, indeed. And now I'm still on call. So like if there is another issue, which hopefully there is not, I'm still available to fix things up. I still have access to the servers and things like this, but realistically, I'm no more there. Nike sadly has decided to sunset the company in December. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Nice, yeah. Wow, that's quite the journey, right? You figure this all started, you said 4 years ago, right? That's sort of the run up to the crazy NFT madness that hit in 2021,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It was, and initially we had no clue NFT will be a thing. The idea was the idea of the vision was to find a way to ensure authentication of a physical product and stuff like that. And I was like, hey, blockchain is great, NFTs are great. We had no idea that we had the right timing. It's just like, the vision is great, the tech is great, let's use that. Somehow everything aligned. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's funny how that all kind of works out, right? And during that same time, people started started getting more aware of what Arweave was and how to use that for NFT images. That was really the first initial spike in usage that Arweave saw in 2021. So, I mean, with that, let's fast forward to, I don't know, what is it, 2 weeks ago at this point in crypto time? That feels like 10 years, but back about 2 weeks ago, right? The images for CloneX were replaced with a centralized company who shall not be named terms of service, and the holders are freaking out a little bit, right? Community reactions are saying rug pull, all this sort of thing. Collectors are frustrated. There's skepticism around everything, whether it's where NFT images at large are stored, where the artifact images are stored, all that. Sam, maybe you can just walk us through what happened exactly, right, in your own words, and how you found out about it, right? The day of.
Yeah. Yeah, the day of the judgment. So, so look, so since December, and actually since a little bit longer than December, my goal was mainly to kind of reduce the architecture, downsize the architecture, the infrastructure, sorry, at Artifact, and we were laying off, sorry, engineers, and making sure that everything kind of follow things stay like in a stable way, knowing also that post sunset, so after December, and that's why I was still in Artifact at that time. The goal was to make sure that when there is no one left in the ship, things still run smoothly, right? And there was multiple way that was done on both servers and decentralization of data and things like that. And we're using a company which, again, I will not name, but you all know the name if you read the former tweets, but for legal reasons I cannot name it. That company is like in between the servers that were hosting CloneX and Animus, and the users, so the viewers, so like it, and including OpenSea, which are viewing the image or things like that. And that company, we were I taken the decision to not use it anymore because there is no point. It's quite heavy cost. It's like more than $500,000 per year for security. And obviously, in my mind, as the lower the cost is to ensure Artifact keeps running, the more life I give it, right? Like, because if it becomes just like a $3,000 per year things to run, then the risk of Nike shutting it down is extremely low, right? Like almost inexistent. So my goal is to reduce every cost to almost zero. So I took the decision to turn off that service, but there was a problem on their side and decided to shut it down way before the contract was saying we shut it down. So they shut it down way before the time was due, and that led to a big problem, which indeed created that that judgment day, where all the image and all the, actually not only the image, actually the websites themselves were actually inaccessible. So there was a focus on the images and on the NFT themselves, but like the entire Artifact ecosystem was completely inaccessible. And it was pretty heavy.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I see Paul in the audience. Shout out Paul from Kive. Paul was kind of the
Yes,
first.
thank you, Paul.
He was really one of the first people to kind of jump on it and say, "Hey, have you looked into Arweave at all?" And yeah, maybe you just explain, maybe just talk a bit about how maybe you've heard of Arweave before. Were you familiar with Arweave at all prior to this?
Yeah. I mean, Arweave to me always been on the radar, mainly because it's one of the only blockchain solution. If we compare it with IPFS, that really offer the decentralized storage in according to the initial ethos of the blockchain, which is something I always wanted to respect, even in the way Artifact smart contract has been written and things like that. I'm a huge blockchain believer from the start, and it matters a lot the kind of things the way we build things, and also the kind of partnership we've had and things like that. So Arweave was always on the radar. It was never integrated before for many reasons, including the fact that we're lacking resources to do that, both on funds or on engineering team and things like that. Because when Artifact was running, it was crazy, because we had things to do every single day, and sometimes we're working over the weekend and things like that to make sure we deliver crazy experiences. And I had a very small engineering team to deliver that, so it was crazy. It was 3 years of craziness. And then post sunset, then it becomes a fund issue, because obviously no more budget to to take care of things. So it was like pretty hard to navigate. But yeah, always been on the radar, and I mean it's the solution that just fits the best to my philosophy as well.
Yeah, you figure Arweave, right? Pay once, store forever. Famous slogan behind it. You know, with IPFS, there's really no incentive for anybody to continue pinning that data. So yeah, it makes sense that you would choose Arweave for that. And then yeah, our team kind of stepped in with our drive and Turbo to make sure that I think it was around 100 gigabytes of CloneX data, whether that was images and the metadata.
150 gigabytes.
Yeah,
150 gigabytes. Yeah,
yeah,
that was a heavy load of data for sure.
yeah. And again, it all gets up there right through the Turbo bundling service.
Yeah.
Yeah, really convenient.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, CloneX and Animus. So most of the, despite the issue we had, with funds and resource time, we were indeed, using decentralization services, for the former collections. But the problem with CloneX and Animus, and the reason it took so much time to decentralize, is that those collections required for a long time a centralized hosting, mainly because there was a whole reveal system that I didn't want it to be sniped, and like you have dynamic metadata and things like that. So we could not have immutability. We could not have a visible file. At that time, it required like a really the security, I will say, the privacy, but yet you know what I mean, right? Like of a centralized data hosting. But then so in December we turned off the reveal for both Animus and CloneX, and that at that moment, yeah, I mean the next step was really decentralizing those two collections, and again, like Paul, thank you so much for putting in touch with our drive, because that was a life saving when it comes to the rushed decentralization that needed to happen once the problem occurred.
Yeah, you think back to when it all went down, right? Day zero, we'll call it. When day zero hit, it was there's a tremendous fire here. All of a sudden, we step in, and 3 hours later, everything was on our drive, more or less, right? 3 hours, give or take. And then that was kind of the end of the story. How has the CloneX community kind of responded to you fixing the problem? Right, I can't imagine it was um, as
Well,
yeah. Go ahead.
well, I mean, look, realistically, the issue is, so the way it worked is like I woke up, I had like my shower, and at the end of my shower, I take my phone and I see like messages like "you piece of shit, left clothing." This is like what the fuck. It's like, so I'm realizing that things are literally going very bad. Because obviously, like there was no way for me to know that our partner or technical partner had turned off anything, because it was not planned to be, and especially at that scale. So like I'm really waking up, literally, like, drying myself, and then I see literally my phone blowing up with like all the bad names I could be called, and I'm like, oh shit, we have a problem. So so I'm like, there was the initial time of understanding what the situation was. Sadly, trying to reach out to our technical partner, who was literally nowhere to be seen, and no answers whatsoever. Great. Emergency lines literally led to nowhere. Like yeah, I mean, once the solution was there, like you guys literally came up with also the idea of sponsoring the transfer, which helped extremely, because if we had to do it ourselves, would have taken a lot more time, because obviously, in corporation it takes whatever amount of time just to send one message across and to get one validation across. So it would have taken forever. So you've literally taken the problem at heart and helped fully. And I think the CloneX community, I've seen it. Like, first of all, they were not the one calling me bad names. I think they've been supportive since the beginning of Artifact, like crazy, and always knew that the engineering team and myself have been, always trying to deliver the best, and fixing everything, when technical issues arise. And technical issues always arise. There's no systems without technical issue, that's for sure. um and I think they've been also understanding what you guys have been doing. So like, and I'm sure you've seen on your side as well. Like I think there is a lot of great gratefulness sentiments that emanate from the CloneX community. I'm very happy with the way they reacted. To be honest, they understood, and funnily enough, that's the moment where there was the most CloneX traded recently when they all disappear, which makes no sense. But yeah,
The old adage, no news is bad news, I guess. Well, I don't know, it depends who you ask. But yeah, I mean, the reaction around it, and to me, in my humble opinion, Arweave works best when nobody knows that it's actually doing its thing, right? It's designed just to kind of live in the background, store this data forever, and of course RIO making it accessible through the gateway network and all that stuff. Maybe just a little bit of a sidetrack here. I know, have you gotten into the RNS side of what we're building here at RIO at all?
yeah, I mean, I've used the ARNS for Animus because Animus had a very specific need. So I don't want to enter too technically, but just so for some people listening here, who might want some details additional, like you need to understand that when you're looking at an Animus on OpenSea or another marketplace, you're actually looking at a web page. You're not looking at an image directly. You're looking at a web page, and that web page is referencing both a metadata file and an image file. And the reason it's doing it this way is because each Animus has different, either it has a 2D version, a 3D version, and sometimes a video attached to it. And so the web page needs to read the metadata to then understand to what it's supposed to link the image to, right? And show the different version. And for that to happen, the ARNS literally saved the entire migration, because on IPFS I would never have been able to do that. First of all, so that was a huge life saving. And by the way, you guys literally sponsored that as well and made it permanent. So now there is a artifact ARNS link available, and I think everyone can access to it by doing artifact.ar.io, if I'm not wrong, and that's one gateway. And yeah, I mean, not only I dived into it, but also it saved the day, literally saved the day.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, again, these tools are designed to be used for situations like this. Again, in a perfect world, maybe you set it up before something like that happens. If you're in the audience thinking about launching a project, always a good idea to kind of plan ahead with this stuff. Again, this whole situation just highlights the risk of running centralized services for hosting anything. Whether you think 70% of web links die within 20 years, right? There's studies around this stuff, and yeah, the push for decentralization, right? At least on this side of the internet, is always top of mind. Sam, I just want to talk to you a bit about what your biggest takeaway from this whole situation has been, whether that's from the community side, from the infrastructure side. Yeah, just curious what your biggest takeaway is.
Well, there is multiple takeaways. There is one that is more. It's not totally related to Airweave itself. It's more related to the CloneX community and the artifact community, and I think that's a very important sentiment that I should speak about. Is like the reception of the issue and the fix that was done. Really proved me again why I've been dedicated for the past 3 years, and still now, even though I'm on call, I'm still doing few things as a community member for CloneX, talking about Project Phoenix, Story Mode, DLC, those kind of things. Yeah, and it proved me again that that community is just amazing. And that I'm passionate about each and every one of them who have been believing in what we've built, and kind of motivated me to keep on going with whatever I can do, what's legally possible and what's legally not possible, but it's still there. So that's the first take. It's more of an emotional take. The second take on the technical level is basically literally what you said. Some of the experience of artifact required for specific reason, like I said, with CloneX and Animus, centralized servers sometimes, because of specific technicality that require you to use a more traditional system. So mutability of data and things like that sometimes. But realistically, if I was redoing few things at Artifact, like if I was restarting from scratch, I would have used Arweave way earlier. That's for sure, you know. And I think one lessons I've had, um, as a technical person, is that I didn't prioritize enough. It would not have saved the day, because again, CloneX and Animus would have required that centralized approach for the beginning, but it would have helped a lot and probably saved the day in other ways, by using ROE from the beginning. And even just in question of like just being close to the ethos I was talking about earlier, so the very blockchain ethos, that would have made us closer to it from the beginning. So I regret actually not taking a closer look to our weave way earlier. But I'm happy it's done. It's sad that it has been done for the end only, but I'm happy that it's been done.
All's well that ends well. That is for sure. And yeah,
Very true.
yeah. Um, there's a running joke in the Arweavers Telegram that Arweave is the oatmeal of crypto. It's not the financial hyper super, casino that crypto kind of has a, for better or worse, name as, right. It's this underlying infrastructure that can really support projects, data of any kind, right. Arweave doesn't care what kind of data it is, as long as it's data. Arweave is there to store it. Yeah, I mean, this is it was such a wild ride, right. It brought Artifact into the news, brought Arweave into the news, into the crypto cycle, and it's like, yeah, it was such a wild time. um as
Well,
as an art
if I can add one thing, by the way, is how you guys, and I say that in private, and I will say it again publicly. You guys are true passionate people, and it's amazing to see. You're not only passionate about the technology you've made, guys. Like it's also passionate about the space. And I want to really say it, for any other builders out here who are listening or will listen later to the space. Those guys have been literally waking up, because when we were transferring Animus to our weave, um, they were literally waking up to ensure that we're on the same time zone. So those guys are tired, and to ensure that they can provide me support if needed. And again, that's all sponsored. They didn't earn anything from it. It's not like I paid or anything. So it's fully out of passion, and it's amazing to see a team that is passionate not only again about the product, but also about the space, and care enough to ensure that something as big as we are, can be fully permanent on the chain. I think it's amazing. And for people who followed me, they know that I lost faith, multiple things when it comes to the Web3 in general, and it was really nice to get a little bit of faith back, to see real builders really caring from A to Z. And yeah, it was great. It was really great. And just another important indication that happened after I posted the tweet that says we're using our weave. So they didn't even do that out of PR motives or anything like that. They really truly cared humanly. So for that, the whole Arweave team, I want to extend my sincere thank you. And you rock. You guys are amazing, like fully amazing.
Yeah, that's Johnny Sparkles down there providing that legendary customer support. He is one of a kind, that is for sure. um yeah, again, you said it yourself, right. In this space, there's a lot of grift, and there's a lot of people that talk it, but they don't walk it. And yeah, when we find teams that are walking the walk, it's a no-brainer for us to jump in and help out with things, especially like this. um
But it's truly appreciated, not only by me, but also by, I think, the whole community. And again, I really hope that whoever listen to this can really understand how big this is. Like it's huge. Can you imagine a company that we're paying $500,000 per year is not able to reply to the emergency line, but the company that has nothing to gain besides a little bit of PR and actually losing money because they're sponsoring the full thing and that the whole thing costed like $5,000 or something, literally jumped and changed time zone and everything like that to ensure that we had a success. This is a huge, this is, like how huge that is. It's insane.
Yeah, again, built different. The RIO team definitely built different. I can say that working with these guys in the trenches pretty much every day. Just a quick note for everybody in the audience. If you have questions, please drop them into the thing below. I was able to source some from our Discord. If you want to join Discord, it's discord.gg/ar.io. You can join anytime if you've got questions about the Arweave name system, RIO gateways, uploading to Arweave with Turbo. We're always there to take your questions, help answer them, figure out how to best integrate what we're building into your project. Sam, do you mind if we get into some of these Q&A questions now?
No, let's go for it.
Let's do it. All right. You kind of touched on this already, but how is collaborating with the Ardrive team? And do you have any plans for deeper integrations with any future projects you have, any former projects you have, anything like that?
Well, I mean, so prior project there was not. I never worked in the chain before as a professional level, like at least consumer facing. So no. Future project, I don't know. I just left Artifact, so give me time. But the collaboration with the our team is as I said, it was phenomenal, insane. Responsibility, like the responsibility was amazing. Those guys are on US time zone, I'm on Dubai time zone, so there is a lot of different hours, like extremely different hours, literally day for them when it's night for me and vice versa, and having them answering every messages was insane, literally. It was crazy. So it's been so far the best collaboration I've had with a technical partner, hands down.
That's beautiful to hear. Thank you for saying that, Sam. We got two more questions. What is one piece of advice you would give to other people building in the space to kind of avoid these centralized pitfalls that befell Artifact?
Just when you create your project, if there is a way to avoid centralized hostings, then just go directly to Arweave. Like no question asked. Like even if obviously depending the budget and things like that, but it's a no-brainer. I think it should be part of both on the collector part. So the people who are getting into project, they should check if it's decentralized already, and if not, why? What is the reason? I think it's a great how do you say, check mark or verification mark of trustworthiness, I guess. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. And then for a builder, really, again, I think it matters a lot to be as close to the blockchain ethos as possible, and that's mean decentralization itself. That's just like one of the main pillar of the blockchain, right? Without decentralization, there is no blockchain. So again, obviously, always understandable when there is project that cannot do otherwise. Again, CloneX, Animus had their specific needs, but most of the project, 99% of the project, can avoid centralization, and should. So my advice is, if you can, then do it, and if you can't, think twice about why, and maybe you will figure out that actually you can. So yeah.
Yeah, again, always better to use and not need than the other way around.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last question, I guess this is kind of a question I had myself. Being the community guy, I totally understand like having to deal with the crises that arise and that sort of thing. What was like the toughest part of managing this whole situation from start to finish?
Being alone. Being alone. And again, thank you again for the R team to be there, and it was kind of my extension, like at least when I had questions, I had people to answer. But it was hard. Like, it was hard because obviously I had to do the PR. I was replying to everyone on Twitter to ensure that fires were put out. I think it matters a lot for the community, and for the for everything we've created in the last 3 years, because even if it came to an end, sadly, out of our power, I think it's part of my duty and my responsibility to keep taking care of it. And we've touched with Artifact and CloneX. We've touched people deeply in their core. And I always take the example of, like, we literally have a band of I think 3 or 4 girls cosplaying as their clone and going around to events and singing. So this is insane. Like this is like pure community love. And I think it will be absolutely disgusting on my side to just like be okay, bye. Nike decided to sunset us, so okay, bye. No, I don't think I can do that. I don't think it would be fair, and I don't think it would be nice or the people who believe in what we've done. So it mattered to me that answering everyone, ensuring that everyone has the right information, right moment, and at the same time trying to figure out what the hell happened with our technical partner, and also like what's up. And then on top of that, transferring 150 gigabytes of data to to a system I never had used before, and figuring it out. But again, with your help, right? Like so, I think the hardest part was really to be alone and trying to fulfill so much different shoes in the same time, but success, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I again, as somebody who is, online a lot, I to see you in the comments of all the posts that you were updating everybody about for a project that you are the one man, kind of the point man for the whole thing, and you're responding to every comment about every sort of thing, with some people saying some really not nice things. I mean, that just shows who you are as a person. Yeah, the amount of care that you have in the project. And yeah, I think
Well, fun fact, but and it's not only me, Benoit, I remember very well. This is more of a clonic story, but when we released it, but like we spent the last 2 weeks before the release of Clonix, Benoit and I, on a call. Benoit was living in an apartment where we call it the orc the orc apartment, because it was really looking like, I don't know if you ever played Warcraft, but it looked really like a building from the orc faction in Warcraft, because it was fully being rebuilt, and there was like construction noise, and we're like fully for 2 weeks on the phone, looking at everything, every clone one by one, because obviously at that moment Artifact didn't have, it was pre Nike, and it was our first real big project we're releasing, so we didn't have the funds to like invest in a huge team. So it was just me and him doing that with some help from Chris and Z and Evan, the girlfriend of Benoit. And it was sleepless night, being on the on the mic with like a noise of drills. Just looking at clones, I was about to puke because I was seeing too much clones. It was 20,000 files to review, and at the same time, the smart contract. It's like the love I have for the project. It's insane. I literally got white hair for it. I puked because of it. I there was a lot of stress, and a lot of memorable moments, and it all comes out to a lot of love. So my care to me, it's just normal. What I've done is totally normal, and I'll do it again if necessary. Like I'll crusade again if necessary against all bad posts if necessary, because it just matters a lot. This project just matters a lot to me.
yeah, I mean, you said it's a labor of love, right? Yeah, the passion really comes through when you're talking about it, and yeah, it seems it is very genuine, and now it's preserved forever on Arweave. I don't
Thanks
think
to
you'll
you.
have this Yeah, no, again, I think we recognize how real it is, and we're always happy to help out in that situation. Yeah, and with it all stored on Arweave, hopefully I don't think this situation will arise again. So, yeah, good times ahead only, up only, as they say. Um, but yeah, as we wrap up the show here, Sam, if you have any parting words, I think now is a good time to get them out.
Well, I mean, just again, thank you for everyone. Thank you to the R team. You've been fantastic. You've been phenomenal, and I really encourage everyone who is curious even about the technology itself, like to go and reach your hand towards the R team, because they've been nothing but helpful. They've been amazing from A to Z. And then thank you also to the CloneX community to to for the past 3 years and 5 months to have been with us, to have been part of a journey. And even though it took a sad turn with the sunset, like it's still amazing to see the people who care. And honestly, I always try to see I always try to see things that positively, and to me, the most positive point is that it apparently took 10 minutes between the moment the image went down to the moment I started to get fucked online. I mean, like, and it means that people are looking, and it means people are still very much caring about CloneX, and it matters, like on the positive point, it means that people still care a lot, and yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, I think that was definitely one of the main things that stood out in my mind is, yeah, it happened and people were on it. And yeah, that's the sign of any good community is community
Exactly.
members telling you both the good and the bad that happen in this space, right? I think we're
Exactly, and
we're
I,
yeah.
I can be mad at some people who own some clones or stuff like that to lose their cool sometimes. It's normal, like I get it. It's just obviously hard to live with because getting insult is never an happy moment. But I understand the feeling that some people might have, like it's obvious, like like let's not even put the price in the equation. Let's just put the emotional and feelings you have towards something you've invested time into it. Again, like clones are literally, like, if you go to LA and you go to the Museum of Modern Art, there is clones that are literally being there, like, so it is an art movement, and I know we've reached people internally directly into their soul, so I know that people care, and when people care, uh, sometimes they react different ways, they're not fully happily. So at the end of the day, it's totally good. It just show, as you say, like they were on it, and it just show they care.
Yeah, again, if people didn't care, then it wouldn't be an issue. And it all's well that ends well, right? This problem is solved now, thanks to Arweave, thanks to Turbo, thanks to all the tech we've built, and yeah, your willingness to kind of give us invite us into the artifact community. I know I'm super excited to have you guys as just another artist that has joined the ranks of adding Arweave as the data storage, whether that's for the images or the metadata for NFT collections. You figure anybody that uploads an NFT through Manifold is using Arweave. Anybody using Metaplex is using Arweave, right? This storage, this chain agnostic storage platform can be used for anything. So yeah, it's just another feather in the cap of Arweave. Um, but yeah, Sam, I want to thank you for your time. I know it's probably getting late where you are. But yeah, thanks for taking the time to explain what happened. I think anybody who listens back to this space, I think this is a great way to kind of end this chapter of Artifact. And I don't know, I'm excited to see what comes next. Do you have any idea what comes next for Artifact?
uh I don't know. I don't know. I mean, on the community level, like whatever legally can be done. So we've released Project Phoenix with Jarlan, which is our Unreal Engine 5 system that allows you to use your CloneX and have high definitions, the 3D models of it, and this kind of thing. And I really invite everyone to look at it, because actually, if you don't have a CloneX, you can still use it, and it's really amazing work. Jarlan mainly put it together. I've done some of the backend work, but the UE5 is mainly from Jarlan, and that's fully community work. And then we have Story Mode DLC, which is coming out very soon, hopefully. Every time I want to release it, the AI change, so I have to rework on it, but whatever, which allows you to generate your clone in different scenarios using AI. So it's basically trying to simplify, both tools are trying to simplify creator work for people who have CloneX, and actually people even who don't have CloneX. And yeah, and all of that is open source, and I think this is what we're gonna keep trying as a community to build, to release of maybe a video game if that's legally possible. Like the problem is obviously the IP is owned by Nike, and so obviously there is legally stuff that are not possible to be done. But whatever that can be done, I think will be done. Again, because of care and love, and because I don't want the product to just die out. So yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Check out Phoenix. Um, and yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all there is on that. Last calls to action for everybody. Make sure you follow Sam. Keep up with what he's doing, what he's working on next. Follow our Drive app. I think they might be in the audience, maybe not. You can follow our Drive app. They are the easiest way to get your data onto Arweave. Follow us, RIO Network, of course, and follow Paul Brahmas Paul, down in the audience somewhere. Legend for really just connecting us and bringing everything full circle. If you want to get 20% off your first turbo upload, you can use code welcome20 at checkout. You get 20% off. But yeah, this has been a great way to kind of summarize everything, wrap it up, put a nice bow on it. Sam, thanks so much for your time and your answers and your honesty and your passion. Really comes through. And yeah, I think I'm with you with getting a rejuvenation of uh, love in this space. I think it's really great to have.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. All right, Sam. Thanks for your time. Everybody else, I will see you all on the permaweb. Have a great week.
Thank you again. See you.